Happy birthday,
Happy birthday.
to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Latency. Happy
birthday, dear
Dad.
Happy birthday to
you.
And many more.
That worked remarkably well, actually.
Everybody is here. Would everybody say hello individually so that I...
Hang up your phone.
Dad, you have to hang up your phone.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
I find myself in... You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
All right.
see me.
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Let us all say hello
Okay.
individually, starting with Deborah and those that are near Deborah.
Hello, Dad. Happy birthday. I must say that you have had some pretty remarkable ways to mark your birthday. Your 90th at the Presidio, your 95th in Schambach, and this one with shelter in place is unlike any other that we've experienced, nor do I hope to experience ever again. I love you anyway.
Love you.
Oh,
Joel, say something.
have to follow that. Well,
You don't have to
I've
yell.
enjoyed celebrating your birthday for at least 34 years. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. How unbelievable. All these faces that are popping up.
Okay, let's just do a roll call so that we know who's here. Tony, say hello.
Tony is not visible on the screen at this
Tony,
point.
make noise.
Hello?
There you are.
Can you
I
see
don't
me?
see you on the screen. Yeah, here he is. Okay. Hello, Tony.
Hello? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ron.
Rainy.
I miss
Good to see
you.
you.
Good to see you.
And I think I see Renata. Renata, say hello.
Occupying the field.
Hello, Renata. Hello, Renata.
Hi, Weston. Hey, buddy.
Hello, bud. Say hello.
Hey, Weston.
Sarah and I see
Hi.
Tony.
Hi.
There he is, Weston. Hello there, Weston. Hello there, Renata.
And
Oh, there they
Chloe
are.
have just joined the
There.
party. Hello.
Yay!
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Emily, Chloe.
Hey, the gang's all here. This is
There
awesome.
is Robert and Leslie.
Hi, Dad. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
We have some glasses of champagne, and we're clinking glasses.
We
Very good.
We're sitting in the new place. We're sitting in place in the new place.
Great, 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 great.
There's
Lily.
Alicia.
Oh, hang on.
Hello.
There's Lisa.
Yeah,
Hello.
how fantastic. How utterly fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm good. How are you? Happy birthday.
How wonderful to see you, Chloe and Eben.
Hi.
I've been talking about you to Dennis Russell Davis today. He called me.
Hi.
I'll drink to that.
Hmm.
How's he?
And Chloe survived today. That's good.
I did. Made it through the whole day.
That must be Alicia back there. She has not as yet waved. Alicia?
Alicia, making noise and waves.
Yeah.
You can't hear me?
It's just that your
Yes.
face
Oh,
comes up when
hello.
you were the loudest one talking,
Oh.
so make your face come up. There you go.
Hello.
Hello there. Good to see
How
you.
are you?
Lovely to see you.
Good to see you too.
Beautiful as ever.
Oh, thank you. Happy birthday.
Lily, say hello, Lily.
Hi, Opa. Happy birthday.
Liliana, where are you, Lily? Are you?
I'm in Minnesota.
We're in Minnesota. This is
Yeah.
unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, all in one place. I mean, this is fantastic.
Naomi, say hello.
Hello. Happy birthday. I'm also in Oregon.
Who is controlling the videos?
The computer is
Our
controlling them
voices
by
are.
itself.
We haven't heard from Asa.
Asa,
Dude.
speak.
Hi, Opa.
Isa, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Happy
Where's the
birthday.
rest? And here they are.
Asa, are the kids sleeping?
The kids are sleeping. It's late here.
Aw.
Wonderful.
It's past my bedtime, as a matter of fact.
Aw.
Here
Don't
comes
do that.
Ashley too. Ashley was in the bathroom. Ash, say happy birthday to Opa.
Happy birthday. Hey guys.
Ashley.
Happy birthday. Ron, wherever you are.
There is gone. I
There
see.
you are.
I see Weston and
Renata's back here too.
hiding behind him, and then there is Sarah.
Opa, did they make you a cake at
And
the
Nick.
the towers there? Did they insist on making you a cake and singing songs and all that?
No, sir. We have our own way of dealing with this crisis, and food is brought to my apartment in a paper bag, and then I heat it up in the microwave and eat it here on my desk. In fact, I just got you with that.
That's it? Just food delivered?
I did not hear that last comment.
No food, just food delivered, not cake?
Food and drink is delivered to our individual rooms. We have a choice of three menu items. There is Naomi. That's
Right here.
Naomi, and Renata. Okay, I'm gradually getting used to this plethora of family. It's absolutely wonderful. Let me tell you what has happened to me today. I've had about 30 contacts by phone and by email from everybody in the world. Sushmita in India got stuck there. They were visiting her parents and she can't get back because of problems. Her husband, Oliver, got back to Switzerland where he was meeting his daughter for skiing, but then there were no planes taking him from Switzerland back to Germany, so he had to rent a car and drive from Switzerland back to Berlin. That's what he did. Now, all of these people that I talked to specifically asked me to say hello to all of you and to convey their greetings to you. So if you have the email addresses of any of them, you can respond to that. They're all very eager to, they would have loved to be part of this process that we're going through here now, but I guess that we're dealing with enough. Like, anyway, Dennis Russell Davis called and he wanted to be remembered to everybody. Eberhard called, he wanted to be remembered to everybody.
How's he doing?
Eberhard is doing very well. He sounded better than I've heard him for a long time. Wolfgang and Doris Wallster want to be remembered, and they are up on the North Sea at their vacation place. I had a long conversation with Martin Klein, who is spending a lot of time taking care of his dad. He sounded good, family, everybody okay, and wants to be remembered. I mentioned Dennis and Mackie. Then I had a long call from Christian Klein, who as usual is solving the problems of the world, and he wants to be remembered to everybody. So I have now gone through the list of people that I talked to today, and I won't bother you with the rest of the 30 or so people, some of them whom you may or may not know. Some are people here, and some you may not know. But I think all of the people that you met at Schambach have communicated either by phone or email, and as far as I can tell, everybody is well, everybody is as concerned as everybody else. So people are sort of on the same level as we are. No one is freaking out, and no one as yet has had much of a problem. I talked to Santa Cruz, help me.
Andy?
Andy, and Andy's wife is being tested at the moment, and they're waiting results of that. So she evidently has been exposed, but feeling okay. I think she has minor symptoms. He sounded fairly confident and certainly not in any way freaked out. So hope that that one goes well. That's what I have to report. Otherwise, everyone is very much concerned about us all, particularly the people far away. And they are under the firm opinion, and I hope they are correct, that being related to me, you're all going to live to be 100.
You're here.
Here,
I'll drink
here.
to that.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
Especially in-laws.
Yeah, just by marriage.
Dad, what did you make of the image that Clive McCarthy sent to you?
That sounded or looked to me like that song that you guys sang in Schambach. Ron, Ron.
How would he know about that, though?
You good?
How did I know about it? I
No,
looked at it.
how would Clive know about it?
That is a good question.
To me, it
There
looked
was a
like
video, wasn't there?
certainly
It's gone
Ron-
viral.
Somebody must have sent it to him, or he must have gotten it somehow from somebody. I didn't. I see
Anyway,
Oh,
that
I
was
want
very
you to hear
nice.
this.
on Bob's
always asking
page,
about
there
this.
sounds like Bob and Leslie had something to do with that. I mean, by the smirk on their faces. That's
That's just our normal smirk.
Yeah, I know nothing.
Oh,
Asa, were you trying to say something?
Opa's always asking about this painting he gave me, and I'm trying to show him where it is.
Aha.
Nice.
Omi and Opa gave this to me years ago. So that hangs right, this is right where I come in the front door, so it's right there.
Yeah, I've seen
very
a
nice.
picture of that from you, and I'm very happy about that. And I hope that you will, at some point in time, when you're in Europe, find the opportunity to go to Salford, which is a suburb of Manchester or nearby, and visit the museum where this guy's stuff is hanging.
Yeah, you sent me the brochure from the museum, which I still have.
Yeah.
I just saw it today, in fact. So next time we're allowed to travel.
Good.
This week, I became well acquainted with a number of paintings that you gave to Bob and Leslie because I was helping to move them out of a big truck into their new apartment. Some very sizable
Yes.
paintings in there.
Yes, you might be able to see in the background. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
That's the one.
There it is.
Yeah.
Very sizable piece.
Nice painting behind your head as well, Isaac.
Thank you.
You all understand that these paintings were bought not with the idea of going out and buying a painting, but going through a gallery or a museum and falling in love with a particular museum, with a particular painting. And the procedure was we never would go, Renata and I would never go together. We would always go individually. Usually one would go clockwise, the other one anti-clockwise. And at the end, we would look at each other and say, did you see anything that you liked? And the person and the other person would say yes. And then the other one would say, I will show you which one. And invariably, we would focus on the same picture. This went on for years, and that's the way most of those purchases came about. Some in museums and some in galleries. And the one that is standing in Bob and Leslie's living room right now, that one we saw at a show here in San Francisco by a gallery that no longer exists called Nakamian. They also have a gallery in New York. And that was one of those things that was interesting, that you all know the one that is hanging in Tony's living room. These are kind of paintings that made a lot of other people feel very uneasy, you know, sort of provocative, very strong, very message laden. But somehow or another, that's what we reacted to. And this is, of course, all many years ago. But I am extraordinarily happy that these paintings have found a good home, and not only a good home, but a good home with the people that mean the most to me. So this is a double win. I could have anticipated in other families that people would sell these and cash in. Some of these are reasonably valuable, but it's not surprising to me that in this family, they are giving you guys the same joy that they gave us for all those years.
And they do. They do.
Yeah, I mean, to me, even the ones that I have hanging here continue to give me joy. I really feel that when I look at that's part of my life, and that is what bonded Renata and me. And so it's a lot more than just decorations on the wall. It's part of the very thing that has kept us going all these years. And I very much hope that we will have the same salutary effect upon all of you. Each one of these has a long story to it, and if you go and look in the Chronicles #2, you'll find the stories.
That's great.
Asa, who is that who just joined us?
That's the cat. This is
Names?
Groucho.
This is Groucho Marx.
Right?
Excellent.
Whose cat is it?
It's my cat. Our cat. Dog's over there on the floor.
Gertie.
The cat is with Ashley and Asa?
Yes.
Okay.
Ethan has a whole menagerie of animals out there, it seems like. There's a couple cats, right?
2 cats, 1 dog, 2 children.
Any more cats around?
I
Report of the first
don't
cat.
see the other one. She must be sleeping.
We've got a dog here.
It's Ruby.
Which one is that, Amy?
Da Vinci.
Da Vinci, okay.
He's the
Oh,
youngest.
Dog. I see the dog.
Where's Kai?
I barely see.
Kai's at the
Amy,
dog park.
but that must be Amy behind the
Oh,
dog.
nice.
Anyway, I'm glad that you guys have added something to the K family because, as you know, I was never a dog or cat person. I've had such a difficult time dealing with 2-legged animals. I never dared try 4-legged ones.
Looks great. They're mostly shorter, so it's easier to deal with.
I relate to this. The best that I can offer is this small plant, which I found growing by the gas pedal in one of the vans that we drive at the post office and transplanted.
One-legged animal.
Yep, just the one leg, some leaves.
Multi-rooted.
Plant here that has been on my desk now for almost a year, and the succulent in here is a succulent that I snitched along the road going up to the park here. And it bloomed for a while, and I've taken great delight in nurturing these plants that take weeks and months to grow a 1/4 of an inch. But I have this notion that the slow growth is like my brain, slow growth. But if you live long enough, it'll add up.
Another one to drink to there, I think.
I think the important part that may have been missed is that you're a plant thief.
You could look at it that way. I don't.
Juan has a long history of snitching things. He taught me how to snitch peanuts from the grocery store when I was a kid.
Really?
I have no feeling or no notions about being perfect. So make a wish.
So if we're showing off plants, though, I want to show off this one. And this is a plant that this guy right here. And according to Mom, Omi gave her a cutting of this jade plant when I was born. And so then when Renata was born, Mom brought me a cutting of the same plant that she'd gotten from Omi.
And I can show you a cutting from your mother's plant, which now prospers in my kitchen.
Yeah, so it's here. It's doing well. I haven't. It's grown.
I think that those plants may not be very botanically not very profound or represent anything rare, but they certainly have kept this family going, and that's what we're celebrating here.
Opa, I have a plant to show you too. This cactus, you and Omi gave this cactus to me when I was in 6th grade, so like 10 years ago. And it grew really big when I was in college, and then it fell on the ground and died, but I keep it anyway.
So this what you have in your hand here has been nurtured back to life?
No, it's dead. But it lived like, I don't know, close to 10 years with little to no care, but I like seeing it grow nonetheless.
Well,
zombie cactus.
I'm confused. Is it alive or is it not alive?
It's no longer alive. It fell on the ground, and that was the end of the cactus. But it has made it across the country. I took it from Oakland all the way to Minnesota, and it has lasted. It lasted up until this past year.
But this doesn't look dead. This looks like
It's dead.
It is?
Yeah.
It is a past cactus.
You say so, I have no argument about that.
I don't know if you can see it. It's just like very shriveled.
It looks good though.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I think there's hope there.
Water it a little bit, see what happens. You never know.
Evan and Chloe, you guys have quite a green thumb, I think I've seen.
Who, me?
No, Evan and Chloe.
Oh, much the same.
Except for you guys are mute now.
I've seen Chloe's plant posts on Instagram, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, you can really can't.
Unmute.
Oh, yes, there is an array of plants in the dark here. Dark plants, plants of darkness. You know, you know.
Lemon tree.
Hope, are you getting any exercise? Can you move around in there? Or are you confined to your apartment?
I am doing exercises in my apartment, but I occasionally go for a walk up to the park, which is a nice, good climb and a good workout.
Oh, that's terrific.
They discourage one from going outside, and there are people who walk in the garden. We have garden which goes around the building. So you can walk, I think if you go around twice, you've done a mile or so. And so one can walk within the confines of the place. But I occasionally go up on my own up to the park here. You may remember that park. Tony took a picture of that. And it's a nice, good climb. I mean, it's when I get up to the top, I sort of feel I've gotten a good cardiac workout. But most of the time I exercise right here in my room. And as far as being taken care of, you need not worry about me. I'm doing well, and I'm very well taken care of. People here, as you may remember, they went through the norovirus, so they have some experience as to what you have to do. So this is not the first time that they've done this, and they have managed this thing rather well, and I have no complaints. There are glitches as there are with everything, but other than that, this is working very well. I have no, I'm probably as well off as anybody else, any of you in terms of being taken care of. It is a little bit, how shall I say, uncomfortable to say the least, to be totally isolated. I mean, not have other people to talk to face to face. I mean, they, on the telephone and website is you know, a very good substitute, but it's a substitute nevertheless. So to not have any human contact is sort of a unused to experience, and I have to accommodate for that. But so far, all is well, and I am absolutely thrilled to have this opportunity to see you all and to hear you all. I wish I'd hear from, haven't heard from Amy or Chloe or sort of shyly holding back Naomi.
Send an email. I'm sorry.
I was muted.
The all the people that were associated with Schambach, Chloe, keep talking about what a lucky family we are, having gotten you into the family.
Very lucky to be here.
We are certainly looking forward to see you on the West Coast and see more of you.
Absolutely.
Permanent edit.
And Eben,
Yes.
I assume from all I've heard that your play was an enormous success. I understand that all of Broadway is clamoring to have it in their theater.
They're all closed. Otherwise, I'd be in 5 of them at once.
It's really too bad that that came in between, but I have heard nothing but good things about it and regret that I wasn't there to cheer you on. Not that it would make much difference, but I regret that.
We'll take it.
How about you, Naomi? What do you have to say for yourself?
I am currently in Oregon right now.
Terrible.
And I am hanging out with a couple of dogs. This is Kenobi. And then there's my dog over there being mischievous as always. But yeah, we're about to have dinner. We're getting Chinese food delivered.
You look great.
Thanks.
Are you going to be doing your classes online?
I think so. It's been weird.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I get all the emails, so I just wondered.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but it's a little.
I've been teaching college Zoom for the last week, and it's really weird.
Yeah.
You do this
Teaching
online
acting class
also?
on Google Hangouts.
Evan, you're doing this online also?
Yeah, no, the university is 100% online now here as well.
How does one teach an acting class over the internet?
Yeah, I'm teaching an acting class over the internet. I would say that it is not working.
Go here.
Straight from
Evan,
the
did
neck
you
up.
see
You can,
Ken's
you know.
under his toes?
Well, Evan, I would like to encourage you to think of it in terms of it is not working yet, because I have the feeling that this is going to change the education radically, because people will suddenly realize that the cost of doing this is significantly less than building these monstrous buildings all over the world to house universities, which really don't serve a purpose other than giving donors an opportunity to put their name on them. But it's obvious that you can teach without having Mr. Gates or whoever celebrating his success and philanthropy.
I suppose if there is an upside to this, then a number of institutions that have been persisting mostly through entropy up to this point will wind up falling by the wayside. You know, museums, libraries.
They're going to become hospitals for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ron?
I will say that doing the physical warm-up at the beginning of my acting class is uniquely hilarious now. I do a thing where I make everybody pretend to be picking berries out of a tree and making a salad from it. And on Zoom, this is...
I really hope you've been
ridiculous.
capturing your screen. I want to see this.
It's
I think that this
great.
could be useful.
I think you will all adapt, but in principle, this is not a bad idea. And my observation is that institutions of learning are fashioned by reality rather than provide the basis for reality. I think it's clearly reality pushing our way of doing things rather than us making those decisions. And I think it's about time that the educational system gets a bit of a jar. It's been in a rut for a couple hundred years, so I think it's about time.
It's the kind of perspective we can all benefit
I
from.
don't grieve over the demise of our educational system as it exists. I think that the professors spend more time fighting among each other than they do fighting the world or doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I'm not all that sad about that. They have to be woken up, and this is probably going to wake them up.
Well, I'll tell you what educational system does not work remotely. Daycare.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Early childhood education absolutely needs like the teacher there physically with the children, and trying to have 2 full-time jobs with 2 kids and no daycare is.
But I think education until about 10, I think, requires some adult guidance. The notion that if you leave children alone, just leave them alone and have them interact with each other, that in due time they find ways of teaching each other, because that's the normal way children in less developed, so-called less developed countries learn. They're just left to themselves and learn from each other. So I'm quite confident that this is not going to have a negative impact upon education. I think that people will think about what they're doing, which is something that they haven't done for a long, long time. I mean, you have to look at our government. I mean, they haven't thought about what they're doing for a long, long time. They're just doing, not thinking. So I see a silver lining to this cloud, that it's a wake-up call to the world that complacency is not the best way forward. And we've been complacent for a good long time. And I make no pretense that I am a superior generation. In the contrary, I think that as a generation, I'm sorry to say, my generation has failed you. We have not left this world in a better shape than we found it. And we didn't find it in all that good a shape to begin with, but we certainly didn't do much to improve it. So I think that that is my children's generation, have done better than your parents have, in terms of moving the world forward. Well, enough of this philosophizing.
Well, Ron, I noticed that they're talking about us all being high risk, but the younger generations knew that already.
Hey.
Bada boom.
High risk is not clear what you imply with that.
Having to do with the coronavirus.
And I'll say that once
say
more.
for the record. The one thing really
The entire sentence.
Bob
So I-
Jones.
okay, so the best
Ben in
thing
this one.
has
I have
been-
to repeat my bad
yeah,
joke. Was that-
It was a joke
Never
that
even
required
heard
you
it
not to
move.
think too hard about it for it to land. I think it's best we
Anyway,
move
I think
swiftly
Bob
along.
should just walk around with Isaac there to interpret his jokes.
I'll interpret Dad's jokes and Evan's metaphors, and
Evan and
together
I
we'll
were always the
communicate.
eye rollers in the family.
speaking of inherited trauma,
I, for one, welcome the changes that this will wreak on our society. I think that is a good optimistic way to look at it, is that this reveals a number of things that we were ignoring. But I also appreciate the praise for the boomers, which you don't hear very often these days. So on behalf of those boomers present, thank you for
okay, boomer.
sending them the good word. Yeah, good job, boomer.
We're okay. We're okay.
Yeah.
We're okay.
Y'all
Hey,
okay?
hey, Ron, I spoke to my mom today and she wishes you a very happy birthday.
Thank you very much, and give her my regards.
I will do that.
For me, this has been a very quiet day, in the sense that I've been taking in. I haven't done a hell of a lot myself, but just reading and listening to all these people, and nothing but good reaction to all this. With all the horrible things I've done in my life that most of you probably know nothing about, evidently I've done a few nice things that are well remembered, and that's good. That's good. I mean, I feel relieved that that the judgment is by and large positive, or certainly above 50% in terms of what kind of legacy I've left behind. So I'm perfectly at ease with that. But I must confess to you that at age whatever, there's a huge amount of time spent thinking about the past, because that's the thing that you understand the best, and life around you becomes more and more complex. And while I've been spending a good part of my life making these gadgets possible, now that they're here and I am faced with them, I'm totally flustered by them. I mean, I have more and more difficulty even making a telephone call, because the number of buttons that are to be pushed in certain sequence and with a certain frequency and whatnot are so many that the options are infinite, and the proper answer, I mean, proper selection is a single one. So one out of infinity of possibilities makes these gadgets almost inaccessible for me. I mean, I used to have no problem using a telephone, but I do now. I mean, because, like I say, the buttons, when pushed in certain sequence or in certain numbers of repetitions, I mean, how many times you push a certain button, it becomes so difficult that the facility to remember that kind of ordinary activity that you do every day, that ability has faded significantly. So I must confess that technology has been less and less of an asset and more of a burden. I have a hell of a lot of problems with my computer, telephone, God knows what. Even so, I've had absolute help from the family, and they've set it up for me, and they've explained to me 100 times, but that has not been adequate. Was the amount of learning that I can absorb is significantly less than the amount of stuff that I'm forgetting or can no longer remember. So one has to accept that. That's the way life is at age 97. But I can't really complain. I mean, I'm very grateful for all that you guys have done for me, continue to do for me, and you certainly have cheered me up on this day. I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Dad.
Yes, a pleasure. Was that, did that sound like we're drawing to a close here?
What I don't understand about you, Isaac, is that I have as yet not seen you face on.
I'm looking at a computer monitor, which is not the same monitor, not the same computer that's recording me. If I did this, then you could see me directly. I'm not sure if that's a plus or a minus, or if I'm better in profile.
Nice jawline.
Thank you very much.
Good. Anyway, to all of you, love, thank you, and I much appreciate this. You guys have put a lot of effort into this, And it is wonderful to see you all smiling. You guys seem to be having a good time, and I just am so fortunate to have a family like you.
And we're fortunate, obviously, to have a
Thanks,
Right.
Dad.
all the rest to you.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Birthday. Happy
Raise
birthday.
our glasses.
Good night,
The
everybody.
quarantine birthday. Okay.
Enjoy your
Bye.
98 year.
There's Renata, home for the
All
bath.
right.
Aw.
Love you
Adorbs.
all.
I knew.
Bye, Renata.
Bye.
So cute.
I don't know how to hang up though.
Bye,
Let's leave meeting.
Alicia.
Lower
Great
left
to see
corner.
you.
Like this.
All right. I will end it all somehow.
Okay, not all.
Thanks, Tone.
3.
Leave
Thank you,
meeting,
Tony,
lower
for
left
setting
corner.
this up.
Bye.
Never
Very
leaving.
successful operation, Tony. Very successful.
Got it.